This is an historic day. We welcome Sweden into NATO at the critical time for our shared security.
What happens when a country best known for neutrality suddenly joins NATO and brings with it a weapon that can stalk Russia's navy in silence? In March 2024, Sweden entered NATO. At the heart of this transformation lies a naval capability that has fundamentally reshaped the balance of power in the Baltic Sea. Sweden's submarine fleet, a collection of vessels so advanced that they have become Russia's greatest underwater nightmare in the region. These submarines represent more than just naval assets. They represent a technological and strategic advantage that could effectively neutralize Russian naval operations in what was once considered Moscow's maritime backyard. So just how strong is Sweden's submarine fleet, and why has it become Russia's worst nightmare in the Baltic? At the core of Sweden's underwater strength lies the Gotland-class submarine fleet, 3 vessels that represent stealth, innovation, and precision. The trio, HMS Gotland, HMS Upland, and HMS Holland, may not look dangerous compared to the massive nuclear-powered submarines fielded by the United States or Russia. Measuring just 62 meters, which is around 203 feet in length, and displacing 1,580 tons surfaced, they seem modest in scale. Yet beneath their compact frame lies technology so advanced that these submarines consistently punch far above their weight. The key to their power is a breakthrough in propulsion: air-independent propulsion. Sweden was the first nation to operationalize this system, relying on the Stirling engine, a design that changed submarine warfare forever. Unlike traditional diesel-electric submarines that must surface or snorkel frequently to recharge batteries, instantly exposing themselves to detection, the Stirling engine allows Gotland-class vessels to remain submerged for weeks at a time. And unlike nuclear submarines, which generate a constant hum from reactor cooling systems, the Stirling engine runs in near-complete silence. It burns a mixture of diesel fuel and liquid oxygen in a sealed loop, producing almost no vibration, no heat trail, and virtually no acoustic signature. Technically, a submarine so quiet that even American nuclear boats struggle to match its stealth. In fact, naval experts often note that the Gotland class represents a rare case where a non-nuclear submarine outperforms nuclear counterparts in silence, a factor that makes them especially lethal in the confined, shallow waters of the Baltic Sea. The true measure of the Gotland class's capabilities became evident in 2005 during a pivotal exercise that shocked the U.S. Navy. In 2005, during joint exercises, HMS Gotland, manned by a Swedish crew, pulled off the unthinkable. The small diesel-electric submarine slipped past the elaborate defenses of the USS Ronald Reagan, a $6 billion nuclear-powered aircraft carrier shielded by destroyers, helicopters, and surveillance aircraft. The Gotland closed in, executed multiple simulated torpedo strikes, and then disappeared back into the depths, all without ever being detected. No, this was no lucky shot. Over the course of extended exercises, the Gotland repeated the feat again and again, consistently breaching the defenses of an entire carrier strike group. And the implications were staggering. A submarine that cost around $100 million had effectively proven it could neutralize a warship 60 times more expensive. More than that, it challenged long-standing assumptions about modern naval warfare, that massive nuclear-powered fleets were invulnerable to small, conventional submarines. For Sweden, it was validation of decades of innovation in silent propulsion. For Russia, watching closely from the Baltic, it was a warning. A small submarine force, if properly designed and deployed, could outmatch even the most powerful navies on Earth. So, the Baltic Sea is unlike any other naval arena, and it plays directly to Sweden's strengths. For submarines designed to hide and strike without warning, these features are camouflage. Sweden's submarine crews have mastered this environment over decades. Trained specifically with the mission of countering Russian naval movements, they know every current, every narrow strait, and every patch of seabed that can provide concealment. This local expertise is a weapon in itself. One that no outside power, not even NATO's largest navies, can easily replicate. As Commander Frederick Linden, head of Sweden's submarine flotilla, explained, Sweden brings regional expertise, filling a critical gap that NATO lacks. That gap matters. If you're enjoying this deep dive, please like the video and consider subscribing to our channel. Your support helps us bring more global insights. Now, back to the video. The Baltic is crowded with nearly about 2,000 vessels at any given time. Tankers, cargo ships, ferries, and warships, all moving through tight lanes. In such a cluttered, noisy environment, even the most advanced sonar systems struggle. But Swedish submarines designed for these waters and crewed by sailors who know them intimately, thrive in precisely this kind of chaos. For Russia's Baltic fleet, that reality is sobering. Every approach to Kaliningrad or St. Petersburg could be hiding a Swedish submarine, silent, invisible, and waiting. And with Sweden now inside NATO, Russia's Baltic fleet finds itself operating in a shrinking arena. Based mainly in Kaliningrad and St. Petersburg, the fleet must navigate waters where hardly is a spot of the Baltic left where a Russian surface ship cannot expect the imminent attack of an advanced sea-skimming missile. Sweden's submarines make that reality even harsher. By adding a stealthy underwater threat to NATO's arsenal, they deny Russia the ability to maneuver freely. Surface vessels that once patrolled with confidence must now assume that every transit could place them in the crosshairs of an invisible hunter. Unlike aircraft or missiles, which can be tracked on radar, Swedish submarines give Russia almost nothing to detect until it's too late. With 8 of 9 Baltic nations now NATO members, Moscow's fleet is hemmed in on nearly every side. The Gulf of Finland, Russia's narrow maritime gateway to St. Petersburg, is flanked by Estonia and Finland, both NATO members. To the west, Swedish submarines patrol the main Baltic approaches, effectively closing the trap. For Russia, the Baltic Sea, once treated as a secure backyard, has become a strategic choke point. Every route to open waters now runs through a gauntlet of NATO surveillance, anti-ship missiles, and silent Swedish submarines waiting beneath the waves. Even as the Gotland-class submarines remain among the stealthiest in the world, Stockholm has invested heavily in modernization to ensure its advantage endures. All 3 Gotland boats have undergone extensive mid-life upgrades, incorporating cutting-edge sensors, advanced command systems, and improved Stirling AIP engines that extend their endurance and even enhance performance in warmer waters beyond the Baltic. But the real leap forward lies in the Blekinge-class A-26 submarines, now under construction. These next-generation vessels will introduce Ghost, genuine holistic stealth technology, a suite of innovations designed to make them perhaps the quietest submarines ever built. From rubberized mounts and acoustic damping plates to hydrodynamically optimized hulls and advanced fin designs, every detail is engineered to erase detectable signatures. If the Gotland class was disruptive, the Blekinge class promises to be transformational. These submarines are designed not only for the Baltic, but also for global operations, giving Sweden and NATO an underwater platform capable of projecting silent power far beyond Northern Europe. Also, Sweden's entry into NATO filled a critical operational gap. Its submarine fleet now forms a cornerstone of NATO's Baltic Sea strategy, a region where undersea infrastructure and choke points are increasingly targeted by Russian hybrid operations. One key initiative is Operation Baltic Sentry, launched in response to sabotage against pipelines and cables. The mission combines surface vessels, patrol aircraft, advanced surveillance systems, and now, critically, Swedish submarines. Designed for shallow water dominance, these boats can patrol, detect, and intercept threats where larger NATO submarines struggle to operate effectively. As Rear Admiral Thomas Wall emphasized, Sweden contributes the experience of a submarine crew well-versed in shallow water operations, a capability that firmly enhances our collective defense in the region. That experience is invaluable in the Baltic, where a maze of islands and dense maritime traffic makes it one of the hardest naval environments in the world. In this context, Swedish submarines serve as more than hunters of enemy warships. They are silent guardians of the arteries that power Europe's economy and military readiness. From undersea data cables to gas pipelines, NATO now has the tools to defend what Russia has repeatedly tried to undermine. Recognizing the strategic value of submarines in both deterrence and defense, Stockholm has committed to a major expansion of its underwater force. By the late 2020s, Sweden will field 2 new Blekinge-class submarines, incorporating the most advanced stealth technologies yet developed. In response to heightened concerns about seabed warfare, underscored by Russia's suspected attacks on the Nord Stream pipelines, a third A-26 is under construction. 2 are currently under contract, ensuring NATO can protect critical undersea infrastructure. Looking even further ahead, the Parliamentary Defense Committee has outlined plans for a next-generation program known as Submarine 30, projected to be operational by 2038. If executed, Sweden's fleet would expand to 6 advanced submarines, more than doubling its current strength and guaranteeing a formidable deterrent well into the mid-21st century. For Russia, this signals a very bad future in the Baltic. What is already a hostile environment dominated by stealthy Swedish hunters will only become more dangerous as each new generation of submarine enters service. Faced with NATO's growing dominance in the Baltic, Russia has sought ways to push back. It has expanded its nuclear submarine fleet, experimented with new operational concepts, and even deployed small warships, such as corvettes, into inland waters like Lake Ladoga. Yet these measures do little to offset the threat of Sweden's submarines. Nuclear boats are poorly suited to the Baltic's shallow, crowded waters, and corvettes offer little protection against an enemy that can strike unseen from beneath the surface. Russia's so-called shadow fleet, a collection of aging tankers and cargo vessels often used to evade sanctions or conduct covert operations, fares no better. Once considered useful for clandestine activity, these ships are now increasingly vulnerable to NATO's surveillance net, strengthened by Swedish expertise in shallow water submarine warfare. Poorly maintained and lacking advanced defenses, they are easy prey for detection and interdiction. While Sweden pushes forward with new generations of stealth technology and proven undersea dominance, Russia is left improvising with outdated vessels and strategies that cannot match NATO's combined strength. For Moscow, the Baltic has shifted from a zone of leverage to a theater of persistent vulnerability. So Sweden's submarines are a strategic revolution in Baltic security. Combining cutting-edge stealth, unmatched endurance, and generations of experience in shallow water warfare, they have created an underwater battle space where Russian ships sail at constant risk. NATO's concentration of submarine power in the Baltic, now reinforced by Sweden, allows the alliance to restrict Russian operations effectively. The Baltic, once dismissed as a Russian lake, is now patrolled by Sweden's silent sentinels. For the Russian Baltic fleet, these submarines are a nightmare beneath the waves, a force that has fundamentally rewritten the balance of power in the region. If you found this analysis valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel for more deep dives into geopolitics. We would love to hear your thoughts. Drop your comments below and let us know what you think. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.